Hey, how's it going, everybody? It is Keith once again with Craps TX. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we get started, please, as always, hit that thumbs up for us. If you have not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and hit that bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when the next video comes out. So today, what I'm going to do is something kind of a mid-level press. There's several different versions of it and several different like charts or press levels to go through and progression as far as as long as you got a long roll. I was actually looking for a totally different strategy and just happened to stumble upon this one with the chart layout and everything. And I saw the press levels looked a lot different than what, is kind of a standard press. So some of the dollar amounts are going to be a little strange. I can put the list down below or maybe leave a link to a Google Doc. But what we're going to do is a $15 table. And we're just going to be playing the 5, 6, 8, and 9, 66 inside. And then we're going to kind of do the press levels from there, and you'll kind of see how it goes. The first round, or like the first hit on each, you really don't collect a whole lot. But then, like once you get to a second and third and fourth and 28th hit, your press levels get a lot more interesting. So I'm going to start out with $800. I've got 5 laid out here in black. There's 6, 7, 50, 775, 85, 95, and 8. So we'll get that racked up. And the best way to do it is just kind of roll it out and show you how it goes. I do have a chart over off to the side because of the levels being a little bit different. The math, some of the numbers are a little different. Again, like I said, it's kind of not your standard press levels, although I've seen that chart as well, and I think I may run that on a future video. But let's go ahead and get started on this one. Now, you can be the shooter on this one. I am not going to be the shooter during this video, so we'll just roll this out as us waiting for a point to be set and then carry on from there. If you do play the pass line, with the way that this is more of a semi-aggressive pressing method, you may also you may also want to keep pressing your odds behind, like say if you have one of these numbers as your point number, you might want to keep pressing your odds behind the pass line to kind of keep up with the other press levels of the other numbers. All right, let's go. That's enough talking. All right, so let's go. Looking for a point. First shooter coming out. And we have a 4-3-7. All right. Good to know I can always roll those. That's frontline winner. We're not playing the line. And a 5-3-8. All right. Easy 8 is going to be our point. We'll throw out $66. And have the dealer set us up for 66 inside. There we go. So he'll hand that. Or we'll hand that over to him and they will set you up. All right. And let's go. We need to hit those inside numbers, obviously. 5, 4, 9. Okay, so our first press on the 9 is just a standard press, I believe. 15 pays 21. And we're going to go to 35. So that a total of 36. You could actually go to 36 if you wanted to, but we're just going to go to 35 and we'll collect that extra dollar. The reason that you would go to 36 is because the next level is, 35 pays 49 or 50 for 1, or if you have 36, it would just pay 50. But we're just going to do it at the regular level. So we're at 35 on our 9. We have a hard 6. All right, 18 is going to pay 21. This is one of the few where you power press or you have to add money in. 18 pays 21. We're going to add in $3. That makes 24. 24 and 18 is 42. So we're going to take our 6 and 8 to 42, but we're just doing the 6 right now. So that's the first level on the 6. All right, nice out. 5-1-6. All right, right back on the 6. Okay, 42 pays 49 or 50 for 1. And this is where it gets a little interesting. Okay, we go to 72. You'll have to excuse me because I'm pausing to kind of look over at my list over there. Yeah, this one goes to 72, which is weird. You don't normally see that as a press level. Normally it's 60 or 90. But this one, for some reason, And I saw it on a Reddit thread of all places, you know. So take that for what you will. So we get to put 10 over to the side into our rack, I think. No, actually it was more than that. 50, 60, 70. Where'd I go wrong there? 72, so we're putting 15. Something a little different there. Anyway, there we go. Dice out. And a 527. Okay, so it doesn't matter. We're done with that shooter. We'll get set up for the next one. That way we don't have to set it up each and every time we wait for a point. That's already there. And I think 9 was the only other one that we pressed up. So we didn't quite make our money back, but we got a little bit just to kind of get, hopefully, a bit of a head start. 15 bucks if you want to call that a head start. All right, so let's go ahead and pay for the next level. We'll just do 75, 76, make it easy. So we're going to be paying 66. We'll put 76 in. We'll get 10 back. Actually, I'm going to do 5. I'll do 5 ones just because I'm going to need those for different press levels. All right, shooter number 2. Bets are off. Coming out looking for a point. 617, frontline winner. 617 back to back. Let's see if I can roll something different. 6-2, there we go. 6-2-8, easy 8 is our point. And again, inside numbers are key. 325. 15 is going to pay 21. We're going to go to 35. So that means we will collect a whole dollar on that one. All right, dice out. And 527. Okay, well, this is going to be hard to show you guys if we keep hitting 7 out. But that's what happens, right? In an actual casino setting, Big Red can show up at any given time. Dice out. Looking for a point. Shooter number 3, 325. Now, I may lose track of shooters at some point. I don't really keep track unless we're doing like a specific method where I have a shooter set up for each round. Spit it out. 516. 6 is going to be, let's see, 18 pays 21. We throw in 3, and we're going to tell the dealer to take us to 42. And there we go. We're at 42. All right, nice out. 639. 15 pays 21. We're going to go to 35. And we'll collect a dollar. All right, dice out. Hard 6. Okay, so back on that 6 again. 42. Let's see if I'll make sure I get something right this time. All right, 42 pays 49 or 50 for 1, right? And then we're going to go to 72. So I need to get some more change off of that. I'll need more red. 5 red. And we'll go to 72. So there's 50, 70, 1, and then I need another dollar. We'll just take it from over here. There's 2, 72. So we're putting 20 back. Yeah, so I did something wrong that last time. Anyway, so yeah, we got 20 off to the side, and we're at 72 of all things on the 8, or on the 6 rather. There's an 8 there, 628. Let's see where we're at. 1821. 18 pays 21. We'll throw in $3 and tell the dealer to take us to 42. That is a quarter, 3 red, and 2 white. Take one of those off. That goes back. All right, let's see if we can't keep hitting some of these and get up to some of the higher progressions. There is a 628. 42 pays 49, or 50 for 1. We're going to do it this way. There's 45 and 50, well, for 1. So I should have just paid 49. So 49 is what it pays. And then dealer take us to 72. That's on the 8. So that is a quarter there. There's 4 of those, and then 2 of the white. All right. And for some reason, we only collected 19 on that one. but that's because of the way that did something a little different there. Anyway, 5 red. We're going to consolidate down, get a green. So we're making a little bit of it back right now. We're at like $38, something like that over there. 6. All right, 72 is going to pay 84. And from there, we're going to go to 120. So let's pay this 84 first. Or we'll do 85 for 1. And then we're going to 120. All right, so let's see how that works. I'm kind of doing this for the first time myself. I mean, I did it in my head a few times, but yeah, it's strange. So there's 1. We're going to go ahead and consolidate that and get black chip out there, and we're going to 120. So we're putting 25, 35, 36 back. And we should have our 66 back. Okay, so we got our 66 back, but we have pressed a little bit and thrown a little extra money in. We have a 314, nothing there. You can pick up the 4 and 10 at some point if you'd like, or you could even start out playing 96 across, depending on your bankroll. But the version that I saw, it was just with the 66 inside. All right, 538. Same instance there. We're at 72 and it pays 84, or I'll do the 85 for 1. There's 85. I'm going to take 1 back, and then we're going to 120. All right, so there is 4 green, 4 black, and we're going to 120. There's 20. And we're putting 35, 30. What am I doing here? Why am I keep messing up? I don't know. 35 and 6. Consolidate that down. There's 5 for a green. There's 4 green, 4 black. And we'll get some of these going too. There's 5 white for a red. And we're at 106 over there. Nice out. Hard 10, nothing there. I guess you could play the hard 4 and hard 10 if you wanted, just to kind of keep a little skin in the game on the 4 and 10. There is a 415. That's a point hit, but that 15 is going to pay 21, and we're going to go to 35, and we'll collect $1. All right, looking for a new point. Bets are off. Puck is off. There is a hard 10. And again, like I said, once you kind of get built up a little bit, if you want to pick up the 4 and 10 or play that hard 4 and 10, kind of keeps you with all numbers covered there, except for like your horn numbers, obviously. There's a 617 out. All right, so that shooter's done. Did make a little progress on that one, so that wasn't too bad. But we did leave some black chips on the table, and that always sucks. You just got to kind of remove yourself from that. It takes money to make money. And just move on to your next shooter. Let's go ahead and get set up. We could wait for a point, but I'm sitting here handling the chips already, so we might as well get set up. And then we'll buy in. All right, so there's our 66. That goes off. We'll rack this, and we'll leave $1 out there. There's 50, 65, and 6. So we are bought in for our next shooter. And as I said earlier, I'm going to lose count of the number of shooters that we're on. We may be on 4, we may be on 5, and we may be throwing chips on the floor. Oh, because I still don't have my wall built back here. All right, there we go. Next shooter. Bets are off. Puck is off. Looking for a point. And for some reason, we keep starting out with that 7. But there's a 527 frontline winner. 538. 8 is our point. All right, easy 8. Again, inside numbers is the key. Of course, that's, 66 inside. You're always wanting to hit inside. There's the 2 craps, aces, and 527. Okay, so that kind of hurts when you get those quick 7 outs. We'll go ahead and buy in. Once again, there's 75, 76. We're getting 66, so we'll get 10 and change. And we'll keep on keeping on. What do we start out with? 800? Yeah, I think we started out with 800. All right, so we're paid up for this shooter. There's a 314. 4 is going to be our point. And looking for the inside numbers. Golly, 437. Man, that's quick. I guess you could do the skip a beat thing where you don't play that first roll, but dice are dice. They're going to do what they're going to do. We're going to buy it again. Excuse me. We're going to buy it again for 66. There's 100, so we'll get 34 and change. Put that in our rack. And continue with their shooters. Let's get another set of dice here, maybe. Because that's the problem, right? It's just the dice. There we go. Dice are out, looking for a point. Bets are off. And 6, 4, 10, easy 10 is going to be our point. 5, 4, 9. All right, there's our first hit. 15 pays 21. That's a total of 36. We're going to go to 35 and collect $1. All right, dice out. 4, 1, 5. Same thing on the other end. 15 pays 21. We're going to go to 35 and collect $1. Isn't that fun? Just collecting $1 at a time. It's one of those where it gets better as you progress, obviously. So you need some long rolls. 5, 1, 6, 21, 18 pays 21, and we throw in $3 and tell the dealer to take you to 42, and you are at 42. All right, keep rolling. Just keep getting those inside numbers. 4, 1, 5. All right. 35 is going to pay 49 or 50 for 1. And I think that one goes up to 75. No, I'm wrong. It goes to 60. So 35, 49. So we go from 35 to 60. That's easy enough. We just add a green chip. Leave those 2 red there, and we collect a quarter. All right, so we're getting a little bit of money back. There's a hard 4. Nothing there. Again, if you wanted to play that hard 10, hard 4, kind of keeps you in. 6, 2, 8. 18 is going to pay 21. This is where we throw in $3. I don't have 3, but I'll throw in 5 and get 2 change. And tell the dealer to take us to 42. A green, 3 red, and 2 white. So we have to take one of those off. So there we go. Dice out. 4, 1, 5. Okay, so we're going to play one of these end numbers. That's fine. 60. Pays 84, and we go to 100. So that's where it gets a little level, at least. Pays 84, so I'm going to do 85. 85 for 1. And it goes to 100. So that's easy enough. There's 4 green chips. And we're at 100. So what are we collecting off of that? $45. So we are out of the hand, I think. 50, 60, 70. Well, we've had to press a couple, so we're almost even, I guess you could say. And of course, when we get almost even, the 5-2 comes and says, nope, you are done, son. But at least we're able to see some of these bet progressions thus far, or press progressions. Been a little weird. But, you know, sometimes weird is good. We'll just see how we end up here. Where are we at on time? We're at 18 minutes, a little over 18. We got enough time for another couple of shooters, unless we can get a hot shooter. Hot shooter would be nice. We had some warm shooters. All right, let's pay our 66. I get to keep a whole nickel off of that, or actually $4. All right, there is 66 paid up for our next shooter. And puck is off. Bets are off. New shooter coming out. Looking for a point. 639. Hollywood. There we go. 639. That's our new point. 527. And we're through with that one. Told you, these shooters can go fast and furious sometimes. Furious is me, but yeah. So let's go ahead and get our 66. We'll get some of these red gone, I guess. There's 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 5, and 6. Taking all my change, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so we're paid up for the next shooter. Puck is off, bets are off. Looking for a point. 415. We're good at getting the points, but can we make it beyond that? Nice out. 65 yo 11. I don't think we've seen that one yet. And a 516. All right, 18 is going to pay 21. We're going to throw in $3. There's 5. I'll get 2 change for my little sloppy stacks over here. And dealer take us to 42. 42 on the 6. Looks like that. All right, let's keep hitting those inside numbers, please, shooter. There we go, 6 back to back. 42 pays 49 or 50 for 1, or we'll do the 49 because we have to use some of those red. There is 45 and 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so 42 we go to 72, I believe, right? Right. All right, so 72 is 2 green, 4 red, and 2 white. And then what do we get left with this time? 19. So I guess that's supposed to be what we get left with. All right, so $19 goes into our rack. Slowly building back up our buy-in for this shooter. There's a 538. Of course, now we got to take a little bit from it. 18 pays 21. Throw in $3. Take me to 42. And we're at 42, just like that. Sorry if that went a little fast, but the math is correct. And 437, and we're done. So we're done with that shooter. I guess we got time for another shooter or 2 at the pace we're going. So let's see what we can do. And see if we can't make this strategy, this mid-press strategy, work out for us. Of course, you're always subject to the dice, you know, just with as with any other strategy, he easily said, after stumbling over words. There we go. All right, 66. Turn that off. Let's buy our 66. There's 100. We'll get 34 and change. Maybe, if I can do it quick enough. There we go. 34 and change. And we are set for the next shooter. Bets are off. Puck is off. Looking for a point. 617, frontline winner. And a 538. There's also a $10 version of this. I'll have to look that up and see what the press schedule is on that. I'm sure it just eventually gets to the same press schedule. But anyway, with the 8, that 18 pays 21. Throw in $3. Take it to 42. And there we go. All right. No, that was just the point. I'm sorry. That is my fault. So I need to get my $3 back. There's my $3 back. And set that back up the way that it was, because that is just our point, right? Right. Nice out. 415. Now we can start with the payouts. Or 15 pays 21. We'll go to 35. And we collect $1. Nice out. 549. Same thing on the other end. 15 pays 21. That's a total of 36. We're going to go to 35. And collect $1. All right. Dice out. Hard 8. Square pair. Point hit. That will go off. 18 pays 21. This is where we have to throw in $3. And we go to 42. We'll spread that out there just so you can see. We're at 42. All right. Puck is off. Point. We're looking for a point. Same shooter coming out. Bets are off. There is hard or aces. Hard ones, there you go. Hard 2, whatever you want to call it. That was a 617 frontline winner. It rolled. Nice out. And there's a hard 10. All right, yeah, so we're hitting those hard ways. 10 is our point. Let's see if we can't get some of these inside numbers. There is the boxcars, 12 midnight. I think that's the first time we've had that. And nice are out. Well, if we've got it once, might as well get it twice, right? All the dots that we got. 325. All right, so hitting on the 5. 35 pays 49 or 50 for 1. There's 50. We'll put in 1. And I believe we go to 60, right? Right. All right, so we get to collect a quarter. Dice out. 6-5, yo 11. Doesn't help us on this strategy. There's 3-1-4. That's our big hole right there. Always find those. 3-2-5. All right, so good. We're hitting the 5 again. All right, what do we do now? 60 pays 84, and we go to 100. Okay, so we'll do the 84 or 85 for 1. Makes it a little easier. All right, so there's 85. Throw in $1. That's the 84 payout, and we go to 100 on the 5. So there's 4 green, and we'll put that black chip down, and we're collecting $45. So that kind of gets us close to even for the hand, and hopefully we can start making some profit. Another hit on that 5 would be nice. There is a hard 10, and we are off on the point. That was point hit. Bets are off. Same shooter looking for the new point, which will be 6. 5-1-6. Easy. 6 easy. All right. Nice out. 6-3-9. All right. We're going to go back on the other end. 35 pays 49 or 50 for 1. Let's throw in $1. There we go. 50 for 1. And we go to 60. 2 green, 2 red. Collect a quarter. All right. Get a little bit of money back over there. See. 2x4, 6. 6 will be our 6 was our point, so point hit rather. 18 pays 21. We throw in $3. Dealer take me to 42. And there we go. We're right at 42. And we're looking for a new point once again. This will probably be our last shooter. Kind of running long on time, but it's always good to get a hot shooter in there. 4-1-5. That would have been nice if our bets were on. Nice out. 6-2-8. All right, 42 pays 49 or 50 for 1. Or we're going to go ahead and pay 49 because we have to go to 72 on our next level up. Next press level. So there's 50. There's 70. And 2. And then we collect $19. Alright, and we'll condense some of these down. There's 5 red, 4 green, and 4 green for a black. So we're at $114 over there. Nice out. 5-3-8. Alright, so right back on that. That is 72 pays 84, I believe. 84, and then we go to 120. So we'll pay 85. That's 75. We'll pay 85 for 1. And then we go to 120. So we need 2 of the green. That'll get us to a black chip. And 4 of the red. And then that means we'll collect $36. So you can see it's not like a half press. It's almost like a 60% press because you're not getting all your money back. But yeah, so there's 120 on the 8. 3-2-5. All right, that's a good hit. That is point hit. That 100 pays 140. Let's see what our next level is on that. We go to 150. Okay, so not that big of a press. But there is the 140, and we're going to take it to 150. So there's 25. We'll take 25 from there, and we'll put 115 in our rack. Take 5 of those red, swap it out for a green, and we're building up some money back over there. All right, so bets are off. Puck is off. Same shooter. Doing us well. Hot shooter. 2x4, 6. 6 will be our new point. A couple more hits would really do us good. There is aces, spot and a dot. And a 6-4-10. So we're finding the holes and hitting the horns that we don't have. Aces. All right, nice out. 5-2-7 out. All right. Well, that's a good place to end it. We're almost at 30 minutes. We're going to go over 30 minutes. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this put away, and then we'll see where we're at on money. I don't believe we made it back, but we'll see how much. Well, we'll just see. We'll see how close we are. I hate leaving these black chips on the table, but again, that's one of those, you got to have money out there to make money, right? All right, let's go ahead and get these stacked up and we'll have to condense down if we need to, see where we're at. It does look like we're going to be a little bit light. All right, we started out with 800. Let's go ahead and condense these down. There's 5 white for a red, 5 red for a green. I think we're done there. We're done there. All right, let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, 600, 75. So yep, we're short. 80, 85, 90, 95, 96, 696. So we lost $104. But I mean, thankfully with that last shooter, and there was another shooter early on where we made $100 and something. So a couple of shooters in there did us fairly well. A couple of them did us fairly wrong with some quick 7s after the point was set. But that's craps, right? Let me know what you think down in the comments. I may have made a mistake somewhere in there, but I'll figure it out during editing, and I'll put a message up on the screen, or you've already seen it by now, I would imagine, if there was a mistake. So, but yeah, let me know what you think about this mid-press level strategy. It's not really a half press. It's not a full press. It's not a power press. It's not a press and collect. It is what it is. It's a mid-level press. It's a very strange set of numbers, and I'll put it down below. But I mean, just some of these that you go to: 42, 72, 120, 180, 270, 390, 540, 720. Of course, we didn't get that high, but you know, that's shooting for your table max, whatever it is. 5 and 9 is a little more straightforward. 15, 35, 60, 1, 150, 225, 350, 500, and 700. But yeah, pause your screen there if you want to kind of pick those up. If not, I'll put it down below, or put it in a Google Doc or something like that. There is a press schedule for the 4 and 10, but those are fairly easy, and you don't even have to follow this. You can just do the double up on the 4 and 10 if you want. But on a $15 table, 15, 40, 100, 200, 300, 500, 800, 1,000, 15, 2,000. So that is that. We didn't do the 4 and 10, obviously, but just wanted to show you it's out there. Don't know that I'll try it again. I might practice it, in the evenings as I'm practicing craps at home, and just see if I can get some different results. Again, we weren't too far off there. $104 lost. I think, $696 was what we ended up with. Yeah. So, again, like I said, comments down below if you'd like. If you want to email us, crapstx@gmail.com, and I will respond to anything. If you got suggestions for another strategy, either way, comments or email, and we'll test it out and run it out in a future video. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. We really do appreciate it. The numbers are kind of inching up there. And again, we didn't really set up to, go bonkers and try to get thousands of subscribers or anything like that. We're just out here trying to learn the game of craps and hopefully teach a few of you along the way, and maybe learn something from some of you guys as well. So thank you again so much. Before you leave, hit that thumbs up for us, subscribe like I just said if you'd like to consider subscribing, and hit that bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when the next video comes out. This is Craps TX. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Keith. We'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye.